So we're now in Beijing. I went to pick Daniel up from the airport and he was definitely feeling the jet lag. Nonetheless, we had to enjoy our time in Beijing, so we started off with the Summer Palace.
Dove siamo? Okay. Located in the Haidian district, the northwest of Beijing, the Summer Palace used to be the Imperial Palace in Qing Dynasty in 1750 and completed in 1764.
Everyone around us was eating this Chinese sausage, and I really wanted to try it because you're in China, you want to try Chinese delicacies. And Daniel told me not to because I wouldn't have liked it and he would have had to finish it all up because I refused to eat it.
Ma io volevo fare il giretto sulla barchetta, adesso è tutto ghiacciato.
Buono.
Fa schifo.
Io non la mangio.
Dopo ne mangio un po' io.
Anyway, we visited the whole palace, which is definitely worth going to if you're in Beijing. Chinese architecture is just so captivating and colorful, and it's full of boys and girls dressed up in traditional clothes that look awesome, just walking around the palace and taking pictures. While we were walking around, at some point, a Chinese family came up to us to ask for a picture with a little Chinese girl. And Daniel and I were super excited because we felt like we were VIPs.
Una signora ci ha appena chiesto di fare una foto insieme a sua nipote Mini. Abbiamo fatto la foto tutti insieme.
Little did we know at the time that that would have happened way more often than we initially thought. We learned it at our own expense, but when you order food in China, you not only have to be careful about asking for it not to be too spicy, but also about the quantity, because portions are large. They're originally intended for a large group of people, so even though they're cheap, be careful, because they usually come in very large plates. The following day we went to the Great Wall, which was a dream of mine to visit. Now, how does it work? There are different sections that are open to the public. From Beijing, most people go to Badaling because it's the closest to the city, but it also is the most crowded. And we didn't want that. The other two most popular options are Mutianyu and Jinshanling, which is the farthest away from the city. And we chose this last option.
Abbiamo scelto di venire a Jinshanling, è a 2 ore e mezza dalla città, ma dovrebbe essere anche il punto migliore dal punto di vista fotografico. Fortunatamente nel nostro hotel c'era un ragazzo carinissimo, Colin, che ci ha aiutati a pianificare tutto, ci ha prenotato lui il taxi e ha chiesto di aspettarci fino a quando non torniamo indietro, e quindi per caso mentre facciamo colazione Colin è venuto a dirci che c'era un altro ragazzo interessato a venire alla Grande Muraglia insieme, quindi ci ha chiesto se volessimo condividere il taxi. Abbiamo detto di sì, abbiamo fatto amicizia.
It didn't really seem real to be standing on more than 2,000 years of history, trying to imagine what Chinese soldiers would live like back in the days, thinking about how many people had set foot on those same stones we were stepping on, and how many changes were happening all around it, while still the Great Wall was standing against it all. The third day was dedicated to visiting the city. We started the day off with visiting the Forbidden City. If you go, book the tickets in advance, bring your passport, and get ready for a lot of checkpoints. Once you exit the Forbidden City, Jinshan Park is right behind it, and I believe it to be worth visiting. It's not just about the park itself, which is beautiful, but also about the view of the Forbidden City from above. We kept on walking until Beihai Park. And then we headed towards the Bell and Drum Towers, where the atmosphere of sunset was magical. It was full of people playing around and laughing. It was really nice. We were casually walking around to find a spot to have dinner at, and we entered an area of hutongs that seemed really quiet, but once we were approaching the river, we found streets full of people and lights and noise and music. And we ended up eating hot pot in a restaurant by the water.
Buongiorno, buongiorno, buongiorno. L'ultimo giorno a Pechino, venuti a visitare Beijing. Daniele sta imparando il cinese.
Sì, ormai sono madrelingua.
E oggi siamo a Heaven, non abbiamo tantissimo tempo perché oggi dobbiamo prendere un aereo per andare a Zhangjiajie. E dove siamo? Aspetta un attimo, footage of the Temple of Heaven now.
And then we took a plane to Zhangjiajie, also known as the Outer Mountains. We didn't really know what to expect because information on the internet weren't the best, but it was way bigger and more organized than we could have imagined. We decided to stay in a cozy family-owned hotel in the mountains, where the only options for breakfast were homemade noodles and eggs made by the grandma of the family, and needless to say, they were super tasty. The park is big and full of means of transportation, from cable railways to buses to an elevator, but mostly visited on foot. There are a lot of monkeys hanging out everywhere.
È bellissimo sentire solo i rumori della natura, però loro che si spostano da un ramo all'altro.
And the landscape is absolutely unreal.
Madonna.
数码快照，快照快拿。这叫悬浮条，悬空的。
太超了，太超了！
好，来晨曦，倒数，等放哪边？2、2、1，走起。对，再准备。
Secondo giorno a Zhangjiajie. Stamattina siamo entrati dall'East Gate e non dal South Gate come ieri. Abbiamo condiviso Didi con un ragazzo italiano che abbiamo conosciuto ieri. Oggi il tempo è un pochino più bello. Sta uscendo il sole dalle nuvole.
Oh, guarda Fede.
Abbiamo preso un pullman per andare a un altro punto di vista perché Daniele ha visto sulla cartina che c'era un altro punto non molto frequentato e siamo arrivati qua. Che meraviglia, Dani. Idea mi ha fatto una scommessa.
Fatto un patto.
Un patto.
D'accordo.
Perché queste scimmiette ce l'hanno tutti. Ho detto no, anche io voglio averla, anche io voglio averla. E fa ok, se costa meno di 30 RMB te la compro. Costa 25.
Tipo 4 euro.
E quindi
Ho chiesto io in cinese.
sei stato
E
bravissimo.
ho capito la risposta in numero in cinese.
While the first 2 days were dedicated to visiting the park, we reserved the last one for Tianmen Mountain. But once we got there, this was the view.
Non c'è nulla. Però non siamo ancora in cima alla montagna.
So we changed our plans and decided to go for a half-a-day trip to Furong, which is a lovely traditional city not too far away from Zhangjiajie. Danila was just photobombed by Chinese girls asking for pictures while I was completely discarded. But then I was repaid by a lovely Chinese girl that just hugged me so tightly, my heart melted.
Una bimba cinese mi ha appena chiesto di fare una foto con lei e mi ha abbracciata alla fine foto. Ma è stata tenerissima.
We We flew back to Shanghai and I showed Daniel around. At lunch, we stopped at the same spot I went to when I was by myself, and we ordered spicy shrimps and soy noodles, which were amazing. But then once the lunch was over, we craved something sweet, so we ordered a piece of cake. And once the waitress came, she brought a whole cake, like an actual whole cake. I then took him to the Jade Buddha temple. We went around the Yew Gardens and strolled the Nanjing Road and Divan until it was dark. The following day, we finally took a train to get to Suzhou, which was very emotional for me because I was so eager about finding out how the place I would live in for the following 5 months would look like. And then I would meet my classmates and my roommates and check into my room and see the university, know the professors, and start my semester there. And I would have had to say goodbye to Daniele and not see you till the end of the semester.
Che bello, sono contentissima.
But this is for another video. Hope to see you then.